This was hands down the worst Pokemon to find for this team. Throughout its appearance in the series, Tornadus has been a roaming legendary, post-game encounter, and a random side quest in the case of Legends Arceus. And being the experienced Pokemon player that I am, I already had a few Tornadus' buff green men in my PC box, but none of them had a low enough attack IV. So while I was working on the other members of my team, I decided to use Omega Ruby to find a Tornadus. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire's post-game, you can soar through the sky on Mega Latias and Latios and encounter a number of legendary Pokemon, one of these being Tornadus or Thundurus in a storm cloud depending on your version. I spent a few days checking Omega Ruby to see if the cloud would spawn, but I wasn't having any luck. It felt really odd, so I decided to check through my PC boxes in my other games, and it turns out that I'd already caught and transferred the Tornadus from Omega Ruby years ago. So this was all just a big waste of time. But I really couldn't afford to waste any further time in the lead up to the tournament. I was going to find another Tornadus, and I wasn't going to fuck it up.
You want to see me do it again?
My next stop on the hunt for Tornadus was the game that it was introduced in, Pokemon Black. You can find a Tornadus roaming the Unova region, bringing a storm with it wherever it goes, but it's only available after you get the 8th gym badge, which means that I have to start a fresh save file. I'd already been meaning to play through Gen 5 again, and I wanted the footage for an eventual retrospective on Black and White, so it killed two birds with one stone. Spoiler warning, Gen 5 is still peak. 15 hours later, I went to Route 7 and watched a cutscene where the player meets Tornadus for the first time. And after this, Tornadus will begin roaming around the region. The strategy for encountering it is to run back and forth between two adjoining routes and wait to see if a storm appears. If it does, this is where you'll find Tornadus. So I found Tornadus, pelted it with a Master Ball, and checked its IVs using another Cerebi calculator. They were no good, so it was time to rinse and repeat. About 4 resets later, I noticed that Tornadus' stats and characteristics were very similar to the previous reset. On the 5th reset, I realised that they weren't just similar, they were exactly the same. Turns out that Tornadus' nature and IVs are set during the cutscene when you first encounter Tornadus, the cutscene that I immediately saved after watching. 15 hours.
Life is pain! I wake up every morning, I'm in pain. I go to work in pain. You know how many times I wanted to just give up? How many times I've thought about ending it?
Needless to say, I needed a break from searching for a green genie, so I decided to move on to an orange one.